rich, why are Africans still poor? That question lies at the heart of a powerful message delivered by Paul Kagame, and whether people agree with him or not, his words exposed a truth many have avoided for generations. For centuries, Africa has supplied wealth to the world. The phones in people's pockets, the batteries powering electric cars, the industries driving global economies, many depend on African minerals. Yet across the continent, unemployment remains high, infrastructure remains weak, poverty still exists in resource-rich nations. How can the continent that feeds global industry remain economically fragile? Kagame addressed this contradiction directly. Africa has resources that the whole world needs, but Africans themselves are not benefiting as much as they should. That statement cuts deep. Because the issue is not whether Africa has wealth, the issue is who controls it. Many Pan-African thinkers warned that colonialism would not disappear. It would simply evolve. The flags may have changed. The colonial governors may have left, but the economic structure remained. Africa continued exporting raw materials, while foreign powers controlled manufacturing, finance, shipping, technology, global trade systems, and Kagame challenged this reality head-on.
We export raw materials and import finished products at a much higher price.
This is the trap. Africa digs the minerals. Others process them. Others manufacture the products. Others accumulate the real wealth. Then, Africa buys back finished goods at premium prices. The continent works, but others profit more. For decades, African nations fought for political independence. But Kagame's message reflects a growing belief across Africa. Political independence without economic control is incomplete. What is sovereignty if your currency depends on outsiders? Your industries are foreign-owned. Your resources enrich others more than your people. This is why Kagame repeatedly emphasizes self-reliance.
Why can't we process our own resources? Why can't we manufacture?
One of the biggest problems facing Africa is not lack of intelligence. It is lack of confidence. For generations, Africans were conditioned to believe development comes from outside solutions, comes from outside validation, comes from outside. But Kagame challenged this mentality.
Nobody will respect you if you don't respect yourself first.
But Kagame also makes an uncomfortable point many people avoid. Africa cannot blame outsiders for everything. Yes, exploitation exists. Yes, unfair systems exist. But leadership failures have also weakened the continent. Corruption, mismanagement, dependency politics, short-term thinking. Kagame argued that Africans themselves must build systems capable of defending African interests.
Africans must take responsibility for their own future. This is one of the core principles of Pan-Africanism. Freedom without responsibility becomes meaningless.
Today, the world is once again competing for Africa. Why? Because Africa is no longer seen as irrelevant. Africa holds critical minerals, strategic trade routes, agricultural potential, the youngest population on Earth. The scramble never truly ended, it only changed form. Now the competition is economic, technological, geopolitical, and unless Africa becomes strategic, history may repeat itself. Across the continent, a new consciousness is emerging. Young Africans are increasingly asking, why are we resource-rich but economically weak? Why do foreign companies dominate African industries? Why are African nations divided economically? This is why Pan-Africanism is returning, not merely as emotion, but as economic necessity. Because fragmented African economies remain vulnerable, but united African markets become powerful. This was the dream of Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Julius Nyerere, leaders who understood that Africa's true strength lies in collective power. The world is changing rapidly. Artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, green energy transitions, and many of these industries depend heavily on African resources. This creates a historic opportunity. but only if Africa moves beyond simply exporting raw materials. The future belongs to nations that innovate, manufacture, educate, industrialize. Africa cannot remain merely a supplier to the world. Africa must become a producer. Paul Kagame's message was not simply about minerals. It was about power, about dignity, about ownership, about whether Africa will continue feeding global prosperity while remaining economically dependent, or finally rise and control its own destiny. Because the real tragedy is not that Africa lacks wealth, the real tragedy is that Africa has not fully controlled the wealth it already possesses. But perhaps that era is beginning to change. The question now is, will Africa finally awaken economically before the next scramble consumes another generation? What do you think? Can Africa truly control its own resources and destiny? Or does the global system still prevent real independence? Comment below. Like this video, subscribe for more Pan-African discussions, because Africa's future must belong to Africans.